Hello, hello, hello Europe, hello Africa and Middle East. Going live at 11:11 at least my time, and we are going live across different time zones in our region. And we just had wave 1 in Asia and Pacific a few hours ago. And this is our wave 2 of Global Unity Festival, the second one this year, and the first one on our custom-built platform. So welcome everyone on our different platforms across the internet. We're live streaming on YouTube, on our Facebook page, Facebook events, and in our sister group Earth Elders, and also on our official platform itself. So please let us know where you're watching us from if you are dialing in. Would love to hear what countries are represented, and we will just give a few more moments for people on our various channels to drop in and to join us. And yeah, we had a wonderful journey for quite a few hours on the central stage in the Asia Pacific wave, and we had 3 different hosts hosting synchronized practices of different kinds, and that is really our core intention and core offering of the Global Unity Festival. It is coming together in different formats, in different traditions, different experiences, but at a coordinated, synchronized time. And I'll share about that a little bit later. So what are we looking forward to during today's live stream for Wave 2? So you can get familiar with the program fully as well on our platform. So if you go to globalunityfestival.org, you will see this page, which goes through different aspects of the festival, gives you the upcoming peak of this wave, Wave 2. And also here, if you hover over festival at the top, you'll see February 6th and our today's theme, Strong Foundations. So if you go into that section, you'll see all 3 of our waves of this festival. And you can also have a peek into what we offered in Wave 1. And here is also our live stream that we did just a few hours ago. And so on the Wave 2, the European wave, we have a few offerings intended. So this is a very much living stage and a living experience. So we're co-creating with many people across different countries. And so we'll start with a little introduction and an opening ceremony. If we have our guests joining live, then we'll have a live performance. And then if she won't be able to join, then we will be playing a pre-recorded video. And I'm just getting messages from my team member here that there's some technical issues with the live streaming. So let me just briefly go on a short break and tune in a few moments. I'll try to fix that technical issue. Bear with us. Okay, welcome back. So hopefully we will have solved the technical issues. So regardless of where you will be able to access it, there are many ways. So hopefully people will be able to find the live streams on multiple channels that we're streaming from today. Okay, and after the opening ceremony, we have a few guests lined up for deep collective inquiries and conversations related to our theme of strong foundations. And once the guests join and we have the conversations, we will have our main events, our hosts getting ready for their multiple stages and synchronized performances and synchronized uplifting practices. And I will be introducing guests in a little bit more detail shortly. And I'll let you know when their events are getting near, and I'll share a little bit about their offerings as well. And so that's the really core of the festival. It's coming together in these many different ways and connecting with each other and connecting with ourselves and really uplifting not just ourselves but also our communities and beyond. And there's quite also some new frontier science exploring these impacts that go beyond just our personal benefits. And I'll talk a little bit more about those in a moment. And then when the synchronized practices will complete, we'll have one more guest line up on this stage, and then we'll draw to the close and end with a closing ceremony. So that's what you can look forward to today, and I will be, sharing more details as we go through our event. Okay, so let me share a little bit more about what Global Unity Festival really is. And, we can really notice that there's a certain common yearning for all of us at the heart of our human experience. That there's something that we always seek, that we always strive for, and it can be many things for different people, depending on what level we approach that search. It can be just our satisfaction, our comfort, or it could be something deeper. Once we satisfy our comfort, we look for something beyond. And what really is that? What are we looking for? And so there have been many wisdom keepers throughout the time sharing with us and giving us pointers and giving us directions. What really is that deeper experience that we're longing for? And there have been some also modern visionaries and wisdom keepers. And there's something common between many of them that they're pointing. And they're pointing us towards deeper connection. They're pointing us towards deeper harmony within ourselves, with each other, and creativity. That we don't want just a mundane, same experience. We want diversity. We want to express ourselves. We want to express our gifts. And so the Global Unity Festival is, putting very simply, an opportunity for us to come together and feel better together, right? Putting very simply. There's so much more to that. There's so many dimensions, but that's at the very heart. And why together? You know, well, that's where the science dimension comes in. And again, if you go to our platform, globalunityfestival.org, you'll see a section called Learn. And on there, you can explore several different recent scientific studies that really show us that our thoughts, intentions, and emotional states do have a capacity to impact something well beyond just our immediate experience. And that's what these ancient wisdom keepers have been pointing towards as well. They have been um, telling us that we are connected at a deeper level, that everything really is interconnected. And some of us believe in that from our intuitive personal experience. And now there is science really giving us hard evidence. And, it's still developing, it's still unfolding. And this is another dimension of the festival. We have these scientific indicators integrated on our platform, which I will show in a moment, which give us direct feedback loop for these uplifted, elevated states that we can generate. And of course, if we do that by ourselves, if we do that in small groups, yes, it does have impact, but really it's when we come together in hundreds, thousands, and who knows, maybe even millions one day. We can only imagine what those impacts can be. And so we have organized the festival in 3 waves because we realized if we set a single time for all of the world, obviously it's going to be the middle of the night for some of the time zones. And this allows people to join at a convenient time, regardless of where they're located. And in addition to having 3 waves, we have also peak moments in each of those waves. So the 3 waves correspond to our existing regions, right? So that's Asia and Pacific, Europe, Africa, and Middle East, which is our current live stream, and the Americas wave 3. And so in each of those waves, we have set a peak moment so that everyone across different time zones in each of those regions can join the uplifting practices on these multiple stages at the same time to really maximize these synergies and really create exponential results. And let me now show briefly how we are enabling that in a really convenient way, because there have been events that have attempted that previously. There have been many global meditation and prayer events, and really achieving this multi-stage festival is quite a challenge. And so imagine if you attended a physical festival. There would be a big field, there would be many stages, you'd be able to, look at the schedule, compare the different events, and then choose the one you want to go to that you're most drawn towards and inspired by. And this is really what we have created. It's really a space, a collective space, a co-creative space. This is not our event, This is very much a collective event where anyone can create their stage, can create their offering. So if you go to globalunityfestival.org/events, then you can click on the wave where you're located. So right now we're in wave 2, and you can see that the peak of this wave is going to be in an hour and a half. And eventually you'll also have these filter functions. We're still in our early stages and growing, and some of this is still coming. But you can see the current events for this wave. So we have 6 hosts hosting different practices and doing that simultaneously. And so if you go to the platform, which is one of our today's venues, you can click on any of these and enter this stage. Join this stage as if you would in a real physical festival. And especially if the host is hosting it on YouTube as well, it's going to be conveniently embedded here. You don't need to go to many different places and search, where who is hosting, and you can engage with them here locally in the chat and read description and find out more about the host. So really, we've created this custom-built environment for convenience and ease to create exponential sort of growth and exponential results. And some hosts today will be also hosting in our sister group, Earth Elders. And if they do so, you'll see the link here, which will take you to the Earth Elders group. And you'll be able to see all the live streams when they happen here conveniently as well. So this is what our offering is. This is in a nutshell what the festival is about. And let me know in the comments, regardless of where you're joining us from, whether Facebook or YouTube, if you have some questions, perhaps we can, because this is a live stream, interact and go into some of these details deeper. And there's someone joining us from Ireland, I see. And yes, someone is sharing that, with gratitude that they're tuning in. Someone, yes, is one of our upcoming hosts as well, is acknowledging. Thank you so much, and hit those like buttons and hearts if you're on Facebook, really to share this opportunity and let other hearing ears and feeling hearts reach this, and also join us for the following months. And this is, by the way, the last thing that I perhaps will share, that this isn't just a one-off, a yearly event. We're really offering this on a monthly basis so that we can really gain momentum, and people can, I guess, get used to this and perhaps use it as a little practice at the beginning of each month. We're hosting this on the first Sunday of every month, just to kick off on a positive, high vibe. So you're welcome to tune in March and onwards. Okay, so there is much more to be said, of course, but we will now move on to our opening ceremony, and we have our wonderful performer in the backstage, and also our guest in the backstage, who we'll get to in a moment as well. So I will now add Katrin. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome.
Pleasure,
So much,
pleasure to
Alex.
have you in the space. And Katrin Skusa is an intuitive singer. And Katrin's music carries soul frequency and vibration with soul, love, forgiveness, compassion, and light, transforming people's lives. And such a delight to have you in our space, in our second overall and first hosted on our platform event. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's my greatest pleasure.
And perhaps you can say in a few more words about yourself, if you wish, and really what inspired you to join the festival, to share your gift. How does it align with your purpose and with your path?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I've been singing for all of my life, but in 2012, everything changed through the experience that there is more than just the language, that we all have a soul language, a heart language, and that you also can sing in this language. And it changed my whole musical approach. From that day on, it really was, yeah, quite magical. And from that, I really changed the way I was doing music. I was able to let go of all these structures more and more, because, yeah, a song is a song with a certain structure. And when you really allow to just open to all the melodies and frequencies and sounds which want to come through, there is no structure. It's evolving in the moment itself. And that's really what fascinates me so much. It is also a state uh, you can enter with all the people who are listening, and everyone who's listening is co-creating whatever wants to come through. So it's always very, very individual, and yeah, a really one-time event, so to say. So I really love it so much.
Interesting. So, yeah, basically what I hear is that everyone has their own journey. Everyone has their own experience in these moments when they're touched, by
Yes,
some deeper messages and deeper energies, I guess.
exactly, exactly.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am happy to give you the floor if you are ready and all set up, and you will be sharing one of your authored pieces that you created yourself. So if you want, you can share something a little bit beforehand or afterwards. Feel free to just go with the flow.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for a little deeper experience of the soul songs, I invite you to the sound meditation later. And for now, I will share a wonderful song, which is actually about oneness, about our origin, about our connection through the source. And yeah, what can I say? It was created by a letter I received from my now husband, and it was not about falling in love, but he said he would rise in love. So it was immediately the inspiration for the chorus of the song, and it took over a year. It's, I think, the longest time it has ever taken that a song fully came through, until everything was there. So I'm very happy to share it. I don't want to. I want to let the music speak. Thank you.
Fantastic. And I love that. Not falling in love, but rising in love. That's
Yes,
just so beautiful. Thank you.
it's for the. It's a song
Mm.
for these times where more and more people really feel that there is more, that we are
Mm.
really, yeah, connected on a higher level, and we really have the power to rise together, to create something together. So that's also why I really, really love and appreciate your idea and your whole creation. Thank you so much for all the work you did in the background, and to the whole team. It's really, really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katrin. Looking forward to connecting with you in this journey and your offering.
My pleasure. We are one big family. We are here to forgive and to set us free. Hear the calling, it's for you and me. Open up your heart, receive your gift. Live as one, give as one. Shine your light like the sun. Rise in love. We are born to be surrounded by the love from up above. Rise in love. We are meant to live together and to reunite as one in love. We are one in the greatest love. It's a time that we've all been dreaming of. Hear the calling, it might change your life. Everyone around the world, wake up and thrive. Live as one, give as one. Shine your light like the sun. Rise in love. We are born to be surrounded by the love from up above. We are meant to live together and to reunite as one. We are one, the human race. We are here to save the earth. Raise your hand and make a change. We are one, we are one. We are one, no time to waste. Come together and embrace your sister, brother, see your face in everyone. 'Cause we are one, rise in love. We are born to be surrounded by the love from up above. Rise in love. We are meant to live together and to reunite as one in love. Surrounded by the love from up above. Rise in love. We are meant to live together and to reunite as one in love.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And really, this is, I feel, more than your husband's experience, right? It's very much a calling of the times, as you also said, right? And yeah, I feel we are becoming more interconnected, more connected, and we're longing for some new experiences. And you know, this is one of these that we're creating in this space. Thank you, Katrin. Would you like to share some other short, brief thing, or would you like to complete with this? And given that you will be also hosting your main stage, you know, feel free to go with how you prefer.
I'm just enjoying the festival, and yeah, thank you so much, Alex.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, okay, we will now be moving forward with our program and having some inquiries and conversations with our guests. And just before that, Katrin, as well, if you stay here for a short moment, because before we move on to our interviews and conversations, I would like to introduce our main events, our synchronized events that will be happening in some time on different stages. And of course, you're one of these hosts. So perhaps very briefly, you know, up to a minute or so, please share what your offering is going to be.
Yeah, as you can imagine, it is about sound, about a deep experience, about coming together as one, creating this oneness space. So it's going to be a oneness sound meditation where you have the possibility to completely relax on a very deep level so that you can gain new power together, that you maybe have a beautiful experience of oneness with yourself, with all of us, with Mother Earth, with the whole universe, and yeah, to maybe also resonate with your true self, with your soul, by listening to all the messages which are flowing through and which might reorganize, harmonize something so that you can have more power to manifest your positive outcomes throughout the year. Yes.
Beautiful. So multi-dimensional experience, as I hear. Fantastic. And I really love our wave 2, our Europe, Africa, and Middle East wave, we had very deep and profound conversations in our previous wave. And here it's, every wave is somewhat different. And here we actually have 3, I think, musicians hosting their synchronized practices. So it's a very artistic and musical wave, which is really amazing. So thank you. Okay. So I invite everyone to join the synchronized stages later on, and just in a few moments I will share a bit more how to get to them and how to find Katrin and other hosts. So thank you so much, Katrin, and look forward to co-creating with you in the future again.
Me too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I will share another host's pre-recorded introduction about their event, and then I will briefly go through some of the other hosts' events from what's available on the platform.
Hi, my friends, it's Keith Hodge. I'll be going live with a psychic surgery healing this Sunday, the 6th of February at 11:30 a.m. Central European time. It's an hour-long healing of psychic surgery through your body and your mind, your emotions, to help you let go of as many deep layers as you can, and to transform and to move into a lighter space in yourself. I work with very powerful guides. If you've not worked with me before, then you can tune in. It's online. You can connect through my YouTube channel, Intuity International, and this will also be streamed live on Earth Elders in collaboration with Global Unity Festival. This is their launch event, so very excited to be part of this. If you need the links for any of this, then do reach out to us, and please share with your friends, and really look forward to sharing this with you on Sunday.
Okay, so this is another one of our several hosts, and we have a few more lined up that I will briefly share about. So yes, if you go to globalunityfestival.org/events, or just click on the festival menu item at the top, you'll see that you've heard introductions from Katrin and from Keith here, and we have a few more. We have ICC All Things, her author alias. She'll also be streaming right here on the platform, so you can join her over there. And she'll be sharing a story from someone who lived in Norwich in the 14th century England. And this is a really nice journey into similar environments like we're going through today around the world now with everything that's happening. And it's going to be a visualization, a visualization of what's possible, beyond the challenges that we can face in the external world. So that's from ICC All Things. And then you can also join Veronica Brady. So she's going to be offering an interesting and shamanic experience. So Imrama, a Celtic shamanic soul journey. So this is quite a different experience, a deep journey into our consciousness, and she'll be streaming that on the Earth Elders platform exclusively. And the last 2 hosts that we have lined up for you today are Magdalena, and she will be sharing also a musical and meditative experience, Yoga Nidra, a deep relaxation, a deep healing experience with some soulful music, and she'll also be doing that in the Earth Elders platform. And one more host who's not listed on the platform, Charlie Mass, a soulful musician, and he's also going to be sharing a journey into the heart through music. And you can see all of the times that they are beginning slightly before the peak of the wave. So depending on which time zone you're in, The peak will be at a different time for you, but it's the same moment for everyone. And so ICC is starting 5 minutes to the peak, Magdalena 20 minutes to the peak, and all others, I think 30 minutes or 20 minutes to the peak. So check those times there. Okay, so that is all with regards to our introductions. And now we will be welcoming our first guest onto our stage. Welcome, welcome, Manley. It's a pleasure to connect with you, pleasure to have you here. And Manley is a revolutionary mind coach, an author of One Mind Coaching, an author of One, the book One, The Answers Are Within. And his mission is to assist the evolution of humanity by reconnecting all to the one source energy, no less, no more, right? So thank you for joining us here today. Hold on, we'll just need to sort the sound because I, for some reason, do not hear you. So some technical challenges that we are going through and which I'm sure we will be able to solve. And I see you have 2 devices linked in. I don't know if that will help to switch to the other one perhaps or not. Okay, and let me give you a few moments to sort that out. So we'll go on a minute or so break, and what can help is also perhaps disconnecting, reconnecting, and then checking all the connections so that all the right mics are turned on. Okay, attempt number 2, 3, 2, 1, say something. We must be, that's the trick of the live streams, so bear with us, please. I'm sure we will sort it out one way or another. Yeah, you can connect, through a different device. Maybe that is going to help. Oops. Okay.
Hi, can you hear me
I think
now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Right, guy. Sincere apologies for that. Not sure what happened. So
that's technology. It's great when it works, but sometimes it
when it doesn't, yeah. So
exactly.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. First of all, Alex, I'm so proud and honoured to be a part of the Global Unity Festival. It's an amazing thing you guys have done here, so thank you. I also found Katrina's song to be so amazing. As you can see, I have my One jumper on today, so that song sounded like a theme song to everything I've been doing over the past few years. And it literally gave me goosebumps. The lyrics were amazing, the voice was amazing. Thank you so much for this.
Absolutely. And this really also, just speaking to that, is one of our dimensions, one of the purposes of the space here is to really showcase so much talent that's out there, and perhaps that's waiting to be discovered, right?
Yes.
And you know, we have, as I said, many more artists for our synchronized events, and looking forward to discovering the ones to come. So yeah.
So am I, because that was amazing. So yeah, I look forward to it.
So we have a exploration with Manley here of a pretty deep theme as well. So knowing yourself as a core foundation, you know. So our theme of this month, you know, every month we are looking to focus on a different angle of connectedness, of upliftment, of unity. And this month it's strong foundations. And well, what else is a deeper and a more fundamental foundation is our essence, is our being, right? And well, I mean, knowing yourself, I mean, that's of course a famous adage, right? A famous phrase, know thyself. And yet, I guess it also depends what it means on our view of life. You know, it's like, well,
Yeah.
does knowing thyself means just I don't know, maximizing our, you know, mental capacity, or is there some more? So I would love to perhaps hear your take. Well, what is that yourself that we're knowing, and how do you discover it, and what angles do you take on that?
Well, I mean, as you're probably aware from previous meetings we've had, I ask people lots and lots of questions. And this self reflection and self examination causes them to find out things about themselves that they actually don't know. Um, so, for an example, we all have an energy within us that powers our every move. And when I ask most people about it, they tell me that energy is intelligent. How often are we paying attention to the fact that we have an aware and intelligent energy within us, powering our every move, managing our digestive system, our regulatory things, you know? So I think most people are not very aware of not only what they are in terms of that's the kind of physical element to it, but as well, what are your beliefs? And so many of our beliefs are unconscious, so many of them are hidden, and we operate from these beliefs and we create our reality with these beliefs. And I find so many in my own self every single week. I'm like, oh, where did I get that from? Is that beneficial for me? You know? So, yeah, I think most people have never actually done enough, not only meditation to feel the energy within their powers, to feel that one source, also enough examination of why they believe the things they are, you know. And I believe that when we do get to know ourselves, we begin to realize actually I'm consciousness. Yeah. And since I was born, I've been developing all these ideas and as coping mechanisms and belief systems as coping mechanisms to deal with what I face in reality. But are they actually true? You know? And so the revelation of self reminds you of source, and it brings you back to that one connectivity that is all things.
I like that. Exploring why we are what we are, right? You know, why we think and why we behave the way we behave. And yeah, it's actually this reminds me of something that we were exploring in the previous wave with our panelists there. And one of them said that we were exploring spirituality, you know, and the role of spirituality in our lives. And Ratnamurti Saraswati, she was saying, well, actually, spirituality is quite a luxury, you know, like in some cases, like not everyone has an opportunity to explore that, to think about that, to inquire in that, right? Because there are so many things that need to be dealt with in the everyday life. And I find also, you know, exploring why we think how we think and why we do what we do is quite some luxury as well, right?
Yeah.
So it's therefore also a great joy to have that inquiry here in our space, and hopefully deepen some of our listeners' experience and perspective.
I think
And
the
I
way
really,
to
yeah.
deepen people's understanding of self and why it's so important to notice that spiritual element of self is because, um, contrary to popular belief, there is only one thing here. That's what the one is all about. There is only one thing here, and it's an unbroken movement. In the words of the famous scientist David Bohm, who's actually considered one of the most contributing theoretical physicists of the 20th century. And he's a kind of successor of Albert Einstein. And what David Bohm has said is that mind and matter are one unbroken movement. Yeah. And we also separate mind from spirit and all of these things. And then the separation is the illusion, you know, the separation of mind from spirit, the separation of matter from spirit is all part of the illusion. And actually, it's all one unbroken movement. So there is one source energy that we all are a part of. And this is written in every religion in the world, and this is written in science. And what I did with the book, The Answers Are Within, is I not only caused the individual to find that evidence within themselves by asking questions like, you know, are you managing your digestive system or is it being done for you? Which a lot of people don't ask. And then they get that revelation. We then examine it from a scientific perspective and then examine it from a religious perspective, because every belief system and everything here is all a part of this one, and therefore is articulating the one in its own way.
Pretty deep thoughts there. I wonder, like, yeah, I really love this scientific aspect, and let me perhaps briefly speak to that, because Global Unity Festival isn't about spirituality, even, right? It isn't about religion. It isn't
Yeah.
about philosophy. Global Unity Festival is really about a deep experience, embodied experience of elevated state, elevated thoughts, elevated emotional state. And we can achieve that in so many different ways, right? We can achieve it, through breath work. We can achieve it through some, purely scientific approaches like heart coherence, meditation, or
Yes.
even mindfulness now, which has become fairly secular, right? And in that personal embodied experience, something emerges, some new experience emerges. That's what I was referring to earlier on in the introduction. That's what the science points us towards.
That's it.
That there can be some effects that go beyond our skin, right?
Right.
In
Exactly.
some mysterious ways. So, although it seems spiritual, perhaps, it actually is not, and it is, right? It's kind of this
Yeah.
paradox.
And yeah, this is the thing: is it science is a very spiritual thing, not only in nature but in its very conception. Because what causes a scientist to explore? It's a natural inquisitiveness that draws him to find out more. And essentially, what Source is doing is constantly holding up a mirror of itself and discovering itself, and then expanding further once it has that knowledge of self. You know, it's kind of like an expansion and retraction, continuous movement. And this is what we see, not only through spirituality, but we also see that in nature as well. So everything contracts and expands, um, and so yeah, I find that the movement of mind, the movement of spirituality, to all be relevant to this one source energy which has manifested all things. And the reason I teach the scientific element and so much of the logic as well is because logic, in a way, is our only block to being spiritual. It's where that ego mind comes in and it starts to bring doubt and fear, and so many of us, even as children, we get very strong messages from Source, from intuition, telling us something. and then we allow our logic and reasoning to talk ourselves out of what we already know, you know, and understanding that we have a higher intelligent part of ourselves that we can rely on for that guidance and to get us through things. It's such a emancipating lesson and session to go through, where you actually discover, hold on, there's this higher intelligence within me that I can rely upon, you know.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let me perhaps poke that thought a little bit deeper.
Yes, please do. Please do.
I really can see what you're saying in terms of in a way, it's not necessarily that it's a struggle between intuition and logic, but some kind of competition for sure, right?
Yeah.
I really like one idea that I learned from a doctor and a healer, someone called Dr. Nader Bhutto. And he is really saying in very simple words that the human of the future is with an athlete's body, a scientist's mind, and an artist's heart.
Wow, love that.
I really love that as well.
Yeah.
And, really, it seems to me that there possibly is a way how we can reconcile the strong logical mind and a powerful intuition. And I wonder if you have some thoughts on that, how they can coexist and live together.
Yeah, I mean, as well, there's no real good and bad within one philosophy as far as I can see. It's just everything is. And so, your logical mind has its purpose. It protects the intuition, which is also known as subconscious. So, so because our subconscious, which is also our intuition, which is also our feelings, which is also our soul, which is also our electromagnetic biofield, whichever way you look at it, different names for the same one. The logic mind has its purpose. So, for an example, your subconscious mind, as you're probably aware, will create a reality over anything that is impressed upon it with intention, with a strong, intense emotion. And so, if you can imagine, without the subconscious and that protection of the logical reasoning mind, any belief that is impressed will automatically become reality. So we kind of need a guard between what we're seeing, what we're witnessing, and what we allow ourselves to believe. And without logic and reason, everything would just get in, you know. So you may think of an elephant, and then the next thing it manifests in your room, and that I think that was an example that I saw before in a movie, and that would not be a very useful thing to do. Is just instantly manifest what you're thinking about. And so I believe that, I don't want to use the word separation, but I believe that process of a belief having to go through your reasoning and logic is there to protect you, and it's there to cause you to slow down and kind of only manifest the things you really want.
So it's like a filter, right? It's like a sifting and sorting mechanism.
Exactly. Yeah, in a way, yeah. And it's a filter, but it's also a guard and a protector, And in different religious symbology, I think Ganesh is obviously, in Hinduism, obviously, the representation of that strength and that protection and that guardian over the subconscious. And all the different deities in different religions represent different parts of our consciousness, and they highlight this requirement for that protection, because we do manifest everything in our lives. I mean, great job to you and the guys for manifesting this amazing festival for everybody, and yeah, that took you a lot of time, a lot of attention, and a lot of focus. So we could look at the logic and reasoning mind as the guardian of the garden where everything grows. Yeah.
The guardian of the garden where everything grows. Very interesting. I guess what comes up for me is that you referred to the subconscious, right? And
Yeah.
the subconscious has multiple aspects, right? It has the embedded survival patterns, or as Carl Jung calls it, the shadow, right? And it
Yeah.
has the true nature of ourselves. So I guess because they're so close to each other, you know, I guess the mind then becomes the gardener that who takes
Right.
the weeds out if they need to be weeded, right?
That's it. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
And this is why we're told in a lot of religions as well that we're from the garden and that we must tend to the garden. One of the things I believe in the Bible is that, you know, from the garden everything arose. Yeah. And then we must tend to the garden is a common phrase. I've got a lot of it in the one book where it's all and it's so many different religions, not just the four main religions of the world at the moment, the four major religions, but so much of the old stuff as well, like the ancient Greek stuff and the Egyptian stuff. A lot of it refers to the garden and the protector of the garden and being the gardener. In the Bible, we also see it's called the potter, or loads of different symbology for something where everything comes from and where it needs to be tended to on a daily basis. So, yeah, that was a great analogy with the conscious, logical, reasoning mind being the planter and the gardener of the subconscious,
Mm. Mm.
which
I
obviously
like that.
manifests our external world. Sorry, go.
Yeah, no, thank you. And you keep referring to different traditions and philosophies which you have explored, and you have represented them in your book, as far as I understand, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So, can you share a few words about the book and where we can find it, and what's it
yeah.
about?
So it's available on Amazon. It's called The Answers Are Within. You can also find me at revolutionarymindcoaching.com. You'll be able to see loads of videos from celebrities that prove the manifestation techniques that I talk about. So every single person in the world has at some point imagined and believed in what they're currently doing. Yeah. Or they have an underlying belief of who they are, which also manifests. Yeah? And so I've got loads of proof on the website of that. I also have videos of myself teaching some self-examination stuff, which will cause you to reflect on things you may or may not know about yourself. And I often call them hidden powers because we use them every single day. So I'll give you a quick example here. If I say to somebody, um, you know, can your mind change your body? They'll often say, yeah, or no, or, you know, but I say, all right, well, let's use this example. If you imagine the act of sex, does it make physical changes to your body? And they say yes. And I say, right, so atoms then are directly under the control of your imagination. And the atoms in your body are no different to the atoms in the external world. So what you're telling me then is that your mind is the controller and governor of what's taking place in your body. Because if you spend a minute or two in a visualization, you're going to see and feel a physical biological change. Yeah. And then obviously we have placebo effects and other external science as well, which we bring them to. So there's things like that on the website, lots of different videos, lots of useful information, testimonials also from my clients who have had massive changes in their life, people manifesting more wealth, manifesting more health, and just more joy all around, talking to you about it on the website. And the book is, wow, what can I say about the book? It took me over 3 years to gather all of the information before I even started writing the book. And then it was another 3 years of writing, editing, breaking it down, making it more congestible, breaking down some of the complex language as well to make it easy to everybody. You know, I went to hit people from all different backgrounds and levels of understanding as well. So it is a gradual build in the book. But what you will first discover, and I think it's shocking throughout. I've been told this so many times, and I've been told that so many people have to read one chapter and put it back and go back 5 days later and read that chapter again. Because unlike most self-help books, it's an accumulation of lots and lots of different breakthroughs, which I call extraordinary discoveries. And the reason they're extraordinary is because 99.9% of people have not come across it, or they've not found the information within themselves. So in the very beginning, you see a lot of science telling you that your mind and your consciousness creates reality. And I'll give you a quick quote now from a professor called Donald Hoffman. He's one of those who feature in the book. And he says, you are creating the 3D world around you. You are doing this so quickly and apparently so effortlessly that you think you are witnessing the world as it is. Now, I'm sure you can understand, Alex, that's a very profound statement, because what he's just said to you there is the external world, which you believe to be independent of you, is actually not. You are creating the 3D world around you, the colors, the motions, and the objects. And that's at the very beginning of the book. So straight away, you're like, you know, because it throws all of our paradigms, which is our existing belief systems, into disarray. Because you're no longer facing an external, separate world. You're actually realizing, well, everything here is a mental projection. It's a projection of consciousness. And then, you know, so by chapter 6 and 7, I start breaking down the language, and we start to see that actually you can look at etymology and find every word tells us that this external world is a projection of what we are doing within ourselves in our own consciousness. So, for an example, the pavement is pave-ment. Ment is mental, it means mind. So we're looking at a mental construction, or an extension of consciousness. When we go, we look at the cement, or the cement is cement. Again, we're seeing another mental construction. Our consciousness is everything, and everything we encounter. So whether it's a person, whether it's a sofa, whether it's anything, it's all in you. And this is what all the religions have told us, and all the yogis and all these things have told us since the very beginning. You are the entire universe. And we have to get into mathematics and fractals to really understand that. But what I think the book does the best is it breaks down everything into a very logical and easily digestible way to understand it. But also, once you do read the book, things won't be the same again, and you won't be able to view things the same again if you have been subscribing to, you know, what the majority teach, which is that you are this separate being who is having a separate life to everyone and everything else, and everything that happens in your life is by chance or a circumstance, or as a sequence of something that happened before. A lot of us believe, oh, that happened and then that happened and then that happened, so naturally this was next. And it actually kills all of those beliefs, and the belief in the old sequencing of linear time, which is a causation. No, because quantum physics teaches that in every second of the day there are infinite possibilities, and we can all immediately change reality at any split second of the day. Right.
Would be great to master it, right?
It certainly is. It certainly is. And I think when you connect the spirituality to the quantum physics, and one of the founders of quantum physics, Werner Heisenberg, he's a Nobel Prize winning scientist, talks about how old Eastern philosophy and quantum physics are basically saying the same thing. And he's one of the people that I quote, and then I show a lot of his work and a lot of the Eastern philosophy, and also, you know, Bible and other Western things as well. But you can master it by knowing the science and then applying what we would call spirituality. But really, there was no science or spirituality to begin with. Those are just names we've used for separation again. You know, it was all one thing and always has been. And our logic and reason has to obviously allocate and isolate different parts of it, and then so
yeah, I mean, this field, this kind of area of overlap between science and spirituality is definitely a hot topic in many different sort of areas and corners of the world. And there's the Science and Non-Duality Center that does a lot of content on this, and I'm familiar with Donald Hoffman as well. And the simple way of explaining the idea there is that the reality that we're interacting with is like an operating system on a computer, right? That what we're seeing is the software, the icons on the desktop that we're moving around, and that's what we've evolved to interact with, because that's what enabled our survival. And what actually drives that software, or what that software runs on, is kind of beyond our immediate experience, because it hasn't been useful for our survival. And so you could, I guess, expand that to say, well, perhaps now it is becoming essential for our survival. And now we are tapping into that that hardware and that code that's behind those icons and programs on an operating system.
Right, and this is why I believe it's so important, like you say, to unify the science with the spirituality. But what I've done in the one book that's different to most people is that I've took the world's four major religions, and I've unified them all with science to make one complete philosophy. But I take it even further again, and the reason I do this is because I've always said, if you don't have your own evidence of what I'm saying, then what I'm saying must be unreal. I don't care how many scientists you get in the room. If I say to you, you have an energy within you that powers your every move and manages all of your functions without your consent or without your even request, then obviously you have experience of this. So there's no discussion, there's no requirement for us to go in depth. I can prove it to you scientifically, and I can prove it to you, using mathematics, and we can prove it using religions and Buddhism and lots of other different things. But if you don't have evidence of it yourself, then it must be nonsense, And so this is a very important element, is the self-examination, which I think actually takes it to another level. So we all have a deep, real knowledge within us, and I often refer to subconscious or God within us, or the one consciousness, whatever you prefer. I often refer to it as the all-knowing, and the reason is because anything you want at any time of the day, if you've built up a good rapport with your own higher self, with your own subconscious, then you can get any answer at any time of the day. I've probably told you about my journey before, Alex, but when I first started coaching, my first ever call was actually from a lady who was about to commit suicide, and I had no training. I had no idea of what to do or what to tell this lady, and my logic and reasoning mind immediately went, "You need to hang up the phone, or you're gonna, you're gonna make a problem." And my subconscious, my heart almost took over. It was like it said, "No, we can do this, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know." And the moment I relaxed that thinking, that constant voice in your head that's continually talking and listening, once I relaxed that, I found that there was something in me that knew the answer to everything. And if I just was relaxed enough, it would come out. And I got her through that, and thank God she's obviously really happy now and healthy and moving from success to success from that really devastating place. And I couldn't tell you in logic at the time. I couldn't anyway. I can now, but I can tell you where that information come from or how I accessed it. but we do have a superpower within us that can overcome any obstacle, that can answer any question, and that can help us through any obstacles we face.
On that note, Manley, that's powerful, powerful last thought. And you referred to the videos that you have, which are compilations of different celebrities and famous people sharing about their manifestation journeys. I've seen some of those. I highly recommend people go and have a look at them. There are on your YouTube
find
channel,
those.
on your website.
I was going to say, you can also find those on the YouTube channel at One Mind Coaching or revolutionarymindcoaching.com. Either way.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we are now swiftly moving to our next guest in a moment. So thank you, Manley.
Thank you. It's an honor and a pleasure. And I look forward to the rest of the festival. Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Much love. Okay, so very briefly, just reminding that we have some of our synchronized live streams happening very soon on various channels on our platform or in our sister group Earth Elders. So some of them are going to start in 5 minutes, some of them in 10 or 15 or even 20 minutes. So tune in and join the one that you are most inspired by today. And we will now have our next guest join our space. And welcome, Lisa, who's just jumped.
Literally just as you said that.
Yes. Hello, hello. And it's a pleasure to see you once again. You were on our first Global Unity Festival, and it's so lovely to see you return.
Oh, it's lovely to be here. It's lovely to be here. Yeah, I mean, I've been in the, waiting to come on, and then my dog went out, and I know if I didn't let him back in, he would be interrupting us by clawing at the door. So, as you can see, well, I'm an animal lover. I'm surrounded by them. So.
Fair enough. Makes sense. Makes sense. And of course, for those who will be seeing you for the first time, who perhaps hadn't seen our first festival, let me introduce you briefly. So Lisa Hamilton-Smith is a horsewoman, entrepreneur, podcaster, speaker, mindset coach, and knowledge broker. She's a founder of Dream Team Live podcast and the Global Mindset Summit. And you can follow the link that is on the screen right now to find out more about Lisa and what she does. And today we'll be exploring another deep inquiry, deep conversation, deep topic, which is belief. And in the context of strong foundations, really belief is what's at the bottom of our ability to create change, to create the results that we want. So pleasure to connect
100%.
with you, and
yeah, Alex, I want to quickly take this opportunity to say how sad I am that we lost Bob Proctor this week, and I dedicate my speaking today to Bob Proctor and for everything he represented, because a lot of what I now know is from his teachings, and of course he would therefore be the master of belief, and I want to talk a little bit about that, because at the end of the day, we are what we think, and our thoughts create our emotions, emotions create our actions create our reality, and they either strengthen us or they destroy us. And Bob Proctor has spent many years, as a very ordinary person living a very ordinary life, until he discovered the power of the mind and the power of his thoughts. And he was a very big proponent of Think and Grow Rich, the book by Napoleon Hill. And that book has chapter 2 is all about faith. And so that's what I want to talk about today. Faith, not in the religious sense, but as in the faith in what you believe, and the ability to actually influence your day-to-day life because of your beliefs, and the fact that if you organize your life a certain way and you cause yourself to think a certain way, it will in fact change your reality over time. And this is a very simple secret. You are what you think. I mean, we all hear that you are what you eat, right? We're all familiar with that one. But we actually need to go back behind that. And we are what we think. And then I'm going to go behind that and say, you are what you believe. Okay. So this is really the crux of all reality. It's the crux of all life. And there are people, and the gentleman who's just been on, who have discovered, and many healers and mystics and psychics, and they believe in another reality. They see life differently because they've experienced it. For most of us, and I don't have any of those special skills, unfortunately. For most of us, we're looking at a very three-dimensional reality, and we're just kind of going, this is all there is. And therefore we can't, we are limited, and the key word is limited beliefs. We have limited beliefs about what's possible. We have limited beliefs about what we can do. We have limited beliefs about how to change. And also we have very limited beliefs about what we can do in this world or why we're here. We're just, our mother gave birth to us and our father told us to be a doctor, and we decided that's all we're going to do because that's what we're supposed to do. And we never thought about who we are and why we're here and what really moves us. So we don't even believe in ourselves. Like if an artist, for example, who knows they have this incredible passion to art, but they're not believing that that's really in them because their whole family are engineers, and that's not what you do. You become an engineer, and this is why belief. We need to teach belief in school. We need to actually start teaching the things that change people's lives. You are what you think. You are your routines. So we have to find a way to get young people to understand the possibility of their life. And so I'm actually starting to call myself a possibility coach, just because I like the term. And I think, because life coaching, mindset coaching, it's just so dry, right? There's millions of them. But actually, as a possibility coach, it's somebody who works out what is possible for you and helps you find out that there's so many more possibilities in life. And because once you believe something is possible, just a chink of light is let into the darkness where you think it's not possible. And where there can be a tiny bit of light, you can see steps. Because if you think you walk into a room and if there's no possibility, it's dark, it's black. But the moment you put a piece of light, it's like you shine the torch into the corner, you can see something, and you can see where to maybe move around the obstacles of the room that you couldn't see. Or you can see, say there's, I don't know, you want a diamond in the corner, and you shine the light, you see the diamond, and you think, right, now I can see it. I've got to just navigate through the darkness to get to the diamond. And you see, we are the diamonds. Our inner self is the diamond. Our strengths, our magic, every one of us, our soul purpose is inside of us. But we can't get to it sometimes because we're in the dark. And we need to know that there's a way to shine the light into the darkness to find who we are, so that we can live a life that we are alive and passionate and loving every day. Do you know, the key to life is for it to be effortless. And I've asked myself this question many, many times, because sometimes I just didn't want to get up. I'm so tired and I don't want to get up, and why do I want to? The day is horrible, there's so many things to do. And I've had to stop and think, well, why is that? Why do I not want to run out of bed and get? Because I wasn't on purpose, because I wasn't aligned with who I should be. And but nobody thinks about that. Like I say, I'm giving a very, very, very good example with a young person I've been working with recently. And it's a lovely story. She came to me the other day, and she's a school avoider. Okay, children, teenagers that don't want to go to school. And I've worked with quite a lot of those. And I said to her, what do you want to be when you leave school? Because she has to go to school and she doesn't want to, right? So, and she said, I really want to run an equine rescue centre. And I went, wow, that's amazing. And she said, oh, but I can't do that. Why? Why can't you do that? And she said, well, firstly, I'm very poor. And secondly, I have no idea. You've got to be really clever to do that. And thirdly, I don't have qualifications. goodness knows what qualification she needed for that, but anyway. And fourth, and she just listed all these reasons why she couldn't do it. You see, so there's a classic example. If someone has zero belief in that their dreams could be possible, and because she has zero belief, she can't take any steps. So she's in the dark. She can't even see. She's actually aware, like she can see the diamond, but she thinks there's no way she can get across the darkness to that. There's just, she hasn't got the steps. She hasn't got the journey. No way. And so I spoke to her and I said, well, let's just see if this is real, this idea that you can't possibly have an equine rescue. And I broke it down because this is the key part to life. If you want to, often our beliefs are based on outdated paradigms, things that we thought about ourselves, other people have told us about ourselves. She thought that her reality was there cannot be possibility for her to run an equine rescue centre because her beliefs were set on paradigms that she'd had from a very young age. You can't do this, you can't do that, we don't have money, etc., etc. And I said to her, well, let's start at the beginning. Now, let's define an equine rescue. If you rented a field for, I don't know, £100 a month, and you rescued one pony and you put that in there, do you think that's possible? And she thought, well, maybe. I said, okay, right. So then if you get one pony and then maybe you get some friends to help donate money to keep it, you tell everyone you're keeping this pony and you need help because it's sickly and it needs help, do you think you might be able to get your friends to give you some money? She said, maybe. I said, okay. And do you think if you do this, people will understand that you obviously rescued a pony and that you're a good person to look after sickly ponies or ponies that need special homes? And do you think they might then refer some more ponies to you? She said, I suppose so. I said, right. And at that point, do you think you might have an equine rescue centre? And she thought about it and said, and I said, and if you raise more money, you can move to a bigger field and rescue more ponies. Before you know it, you can have a 50-horse rescue centre, fully funded, without a business degree, without any qualifications, without any money. I said, it'll just happen because you want it to happen. And that and the want it to happen is the magic. See, if you want something enough and someone tells you that it is possible, that you start to believe it's possible, you can take the steps to make it happen. And so I just watched her face change from a sort of hopeless to, it's possible, I could have an equine. And then, of course, the magic happened. It was like, well, I probably should work hard at school because then I need to make sure that I've got my math and English at least down for just so I feel competent. Suddenly school made more sense to her. I mean, she doesn't really need to do well at school, but it was part of the picture for her that made no sense until I explained that there was a possibility. And we made it so that she could begin to believe. Now, that's just, it has to be a chink of light. Back to the black room, there has to be a chink of light. Now, belief then, that little bit of belief is like, it's like the sun behind the clouds. You see it for a few seconds and then the clouds come back over and then it's gone and then it's dark again. And so you have to actually build into your daily habits, routines, life, working on your belief, working on the idea that everything is possible if you want it enough, then studying your own dreams, because we don't. I mean, daydreaming should be an essential 101 homework for every child. Our imagination isn't imagination. You see, people don't realize that. I thought of this thing and that's a silly idea. No, now I'm not religious, so I'm going to use the word God, but if you're not religious, that's absolutely fine. But I'm just going to use God because God is a good way to put together all the magic and miracles in the world. And so if God gives you an idea, it wasn't wasted on you. It was given to you because that's going to be into your programming. It's taught computers. We all understand software. If God gives you an idea, it's like he's put a little tiny program into you for to run your computer on. And ideas are magic and miracles. Ideas are given to us so that we can start to have, see the diamond across the room and then start to plan. But then you have to have the confidence. And the confidence to follow your beliefs comes sometimes from having a mentor, a coach, or studying or reading, to the people who've gone ahead and know more than we do. Because that's what we don't know. We don't, yeah, we do actually know everything because everything's inside us, but it has to be brought out. Again, we have to shine the light on our strengths and our possibilities. We have to shine the light on the diamond or the Equine Rescue Centre or the wanting to travel around the world. People's dreams and ideas are special. They are gold. They are the diamonds. And we need to learn to listen to them, to come back, to actually think, I had an idea, that's important. I mean, not every idea is something you can do, but to listen to yourself. You know, if you think I could be quite good at that, then that's probably a really good sign. But we got to come back to ourselves. And then so we actually have to believe in ourselves. We have to believe in our ideas. We have to believe in us being part of something bigger, that we are here for something greater, that humanity is here to move us forward in a beautiful way, that we're here to learn to love. We're here to learn to live our lives, not just wake up every day and drag yourself to a job you hate, or drag yourself to your business you hate, or, you know, or be in a marriage where you're sad and miserable. We have to believe in possibility for ourselves. And if we struggle with that, we have to borrow someone else's belief, which is why I'm a strong I recommend people that they need a mentor or a coach. Everybody, a little 5-year-old should have like a life coach, you know, because our parents are supposed to be like the person that leads us, but they're just normal people who may or may not know about beliefs and possibility and paradigms either. So they're not fully qualified. You need somebody who already understands that magic and miracles exist everywhere. And that when that person stands, when you have two people standing beside each other, one of them believes that something is possible and they stand for the other person achieving that dream, magic can happen, because we take the energy from those who do believe. We borrow people's belief and it lifts us up and it takes us out of our limitations. It takes us away from the limiting paradigms, limiting beliefs that hold us back. Okay, so you need to ask me something now because I ranted on for a while.
I love that. Yes, thank you so much. And yeah, I love the ability to really weave in all of that into the story. So thank you so much for all of that sharing. And what stands out to me from what you're sharing is also what we touched upon with Manley in the previous conversation, that it, you know, our thoughts and beliefs that we're talking about now change our physical state, right? And that's when you shared about her state shifting, right? As soon as she saw that it's possible. And the other thing here is that the belief is not necessarily about the specific outcome, as in like, I believe that X is going to happen. It's a belief that it's possible. It's a belief that I can take perhaps a few steps in a certain direction, right? Because it's when we have completely abandoned even the hope of making even a single step, you know, that's kind of when we're constrained. And yeah, I mean, yeah, go on.
Well, it is, as you say, and this is the beauty of destiny. We don't know what, and again, I'm going to use the word God. I hope don't offend anyone who doesn't use the word God, but we're going to use that because, again, just for me, it just gives us this focal thing that what is destined for us. We are destined for greatness. I love Les Brown, the speaker, and he says, you have greatness in you. And so I like to say, you are worthy of a life you love. That's my statement. Les Brown says you have greatness in you. But we need to see and have enough belief that we can see the diamond, or we can put the torch in the dark room. And that then gets us moving. And because it is only when we take action and take steps towards something we believe might be possible, that then life just works for us, because things happen. You know, like the tree falls down that bridges the river. I know somebody who actually crashed their car and married the guy she crashed into. You know, it was quite incredible. Yeah, I mean, you never know. And Tony Robbins says life is not working. It's working for us. It shows up to work for us. It's not against us. It's actually for us. It seems like it's working. It seems like it's happening to us, and it's just, oh my God, these things are happening. But if we have belief that things are working for us, we can see the good in things. We start to see there's always two sides to every coin, and we start to be able to take actions which put us on a journey, which allow things to happen that are supposed to happen to us, you know. And whether or not you believe in fixed destiny, or it doesn't matter, because the point is, as you take actions, as you move, because if you don't walk somewhere, if you don't move, nothing can happen. You have to take action and start. That is probably the most important lesson I would like to say to everybody. You have to start, whether it's a business, whether it's a relationship, whether it's investing your money, whether it's getting fit, or you trying, you know, maximizing your health. Start. It might be difficult. It will definitely, there'll be challenges, but you have to start. And then in the journey, just keep moving forward. Even if you find this is a dead end and that is a dead end and this doesn't work. But if you have the belief that it will be possible and that you have some reason for doing it and you can do it, then there will be a way. If you stand in that space, there has to be a way. Then you keep moving. We only sit down and give up and cry in the corner when we think it's impossible. You know, we've all been there. You know, the boyfriend's left and that means our life is over. Or, you know, we get divorced, our life is over. Or we get fired and we feel like our life is over. And you have, instead of looking at, well, I mean, the pandemic, it's not like we're stuck at home. You know, there were two ways to deal with that. People got stuck at home and some people just were really miserable. And some people went, right, great, I've got 6 weeks to do the garden, or I can start a new business or become a speaker. That's what I did. So I just want to read this to you, which is, it's from Think and Grow Rich. And it's a little piece of prose, really. I just want to read it because it's so important. I love this piece. So, if you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. Success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man. But soon or late, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. And that's the longer version of if you believe you can, you believe you can't, it's true.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I mean, this is so important. This is, it's like everybody, every child, every teenager needs to understand this. And then the rest of us as well, that it wouldn't it be wonderful if you could learn this early in life. And again, the patterns that if you don't believe in your goals, try writing them down every single day. First thing you should do, 2 minutes when you first wake up, and you can do it when you go to bed as well. If you do it in the morning, it's a good thing. For 2 minutes, imagine what you want for your life. Imagine your desired outcome. So for Sophie, she needs to imagine herself every day running her equine rescue and see herself in detail. See where it is, see how many horses she's got, see herself feeding them, see herself working with her staff. Every day she can look at a different aspect. And if you spend 2 minutes a day to think, I don't know what the maths is, 2 minutes, 3, blah, blah, blah. That's a lot of minutes a year, right? And that your brain starts to believe in that picture. It will then feed you information and the steps. And then if we believe in the fact we're all connected, it'll feed you the people that you need. It'll feed you the things, the tools, the money. It will come because it sees that you're serious about what you're intending to do. See, what we focus on is what we get. What we think, what we feel is what we get. And I'm going now into more of the Bob Proctor perspective, that, and actually also Esther Hicks, lovely, lovely book I recommend everyone should read, Ask and It Is Given. And Esther Hicks, if you don't know, channels, I can't remember the chap's name now, but he channels this chap. And this is ancient spirit. And he
Abraham.
talks about, thank you, yes. He talks about we attract that which we are, the level at which, we were talking about quantum physics earlier on, the vibration in our soul, the vibration in ourselves. If we are joyful, we attract joy. You know, if we are sad, we attract more sadness. There's many laws of the universe, and there's a law of polarity, of balance. So we have to find our balance in ourself, our presence in ourself, to create what we want, to firstly create the beliefs and then take the actions. But we need to start with being who we are now and being joyful for that. Finding ourselves. I mean, there's movies like Finding Rita or something, you know, those movies like that. We have to find ourselves. And we sometimes, you know, we're not taught to look at ourselves. We're not taught to check in what our heart says, or, you know, we're not taught to think about how our body feels. How many of us ignore aches and pains and don't treat it until it gets really bad? I mean, our body is it's a traffic light system, right? You know, and everything about us is going like, I feel really bad about this. This is warning, probably need to do something about that. You know, oh, my left toe hurts. Right, well, I'm ignoring that. Well, no, that is relevant. You know, we need to bring ourselves back into balance. We need to then be present to who we are. And then we need to write down every single day. We have our vision in the morning at, let's say, two minutes a day. And we can write down our dreams, write down over and over again what you see for yourself. I am this, I am that. I mean, affirmations are powerful. They're not that you need other things as well. You can't just say something, or they're saying something is very, very powerful. But you need to create for yourself in order to increase your level of belief in yourself. You need to create a system. And Think and Grow Rich is a really, really good book. There are many, many, many other books out there that you can study. There's I'll tell you a lovely book talking about money belief, because money beliefs are huge. Most of us, I don't know, my camera's probably the wrong way around. I'm not sure because I'm on the front camera. This is actually Dollars Flow Easy to Me by a chap called Richard Dotts. And money beliefs, believing that you can actually have abundance. You know, if you don't believe that you can have money, even if you earn it, it gets taken away from you. It's sort of like you earn it and then you get a bad bill. Now, how many times has that happened to anyone listening to this in their life? This is very, very, very common. So what we have to do, we have to change that belief and write down your goals and start to write out, I live in abundance. I have an effortless life. Effortless. You see, if you're on purpose, life becomes utterly effortless. And this is really, really key. We have to find our purpose. And this is simple though. What do you love doing? What lights you up? What do you want in life? People are not taught to go for what they want. They're taught to be realistic. Oh, yeah, that brings me back to Bob Proctor's Seagulls. So he talks about goal setting, and he talks about having seagulls. What do you mean? Like normal goals, which, you know, I want to, I don't want to buy a house, and that's nice. And then, like, I want to pay off my credit card debts. And these are nice. I mean, these are good goals, but firstly, if you're focusing on your debts, because I have to try and pay it off, it's very demoralizing. I mean, it sort of makes you feel like I'm working to pay my debt. There's no uplift in that. That's not joyous. That's not going to make us go, yes, I'm going to get up today and pay my debt off. Sorry about my dog in the background. So these are little things where we can manage our mind and manage our life so that our life chooses, Mario, would you mind? Sorry. We can choose how we create our life. We can manifest our own destiny based on what we love, what feels easy, what we want to create, what's exciting. A friend of mine, Ryan Pinnock, is a speaker in England, and he said the other day, it's really very simple. When you want to do something, do it. And everyone looked at him like he'd lost his mind, because you're like, well, oh, you can't do that because you can't afford it, or you can't do that because that's not okay. And that. But what if we actually trusted our own desires, and when I really want to do this thing, back to the equine rescue, that we just trust in that desire and have faith in ourselves and faith in the idea. And then then we're like excited. We have this drive to create something. I mean, I found myself, and I can speak about myself. My mother died 5 years ago, and my mother and I were incredibly close. We'd lived together for 20 years. Because I'm a lone parent, and I had my son, and I moved back in with my family, and we lived as a family. My son was raised by my whole family. It was just a lovely thing to have, you know. Again, you know, life was happening for us at the time when I left my partner and I came back. It seemed like the end of the world for me at the time, but life was working for me, because that brought me back to my heart, which is my horses, because my parents had land, and I found myself at home with a baby, and there were all these horses, and all of a sudden I remembered that was what I loved more than anything. And I just had the most incredible life with my horses that I never would have had if my relationship had worked in the States. I would have had a different life, and possibly an okay one, who knows. But for me, my connections with animals, for me, my horses are my heart. They're my heart-centered connection. And so my life was working for me. And out of that, I got to live what I'm teaching now. I had the opportunity to start from zero. I lived in a garage. I'll tell you the story. When I got divorced, and then I had a partner later. Let's talk about divorce. I was in an abusive relationship. Okay, so I'm so sorry for anyone who's been, because I know what it's like, and it really, really, really destroys you. I felt this big. I at times was left curled up on the floor, feeling like I just wanted the floor to take me away and never wake up. It was the most dreadful experience. But I got through it, and I'm not going to talk about how I got through it so much, because that's another story. But I got divorced eventually, and the joy that I felt of getting divorced is not quite what normally people get. I got the Mercedes because it was in my name and he couldn't take it away. I left with literally the shirt on my back. I had my clothes because I could get those out. I was able to get those. And I had a Labrador, lovely Labrador called Mocha. And I had no money. My husband made sure I got no money. I had no income, no savings, and a small amount of debt. And I hadn't been working full time. I'd been playing as a horse trainer and having a lovely time as a lady who was kept, but I wasn't actually. I was running a charity, but I didn't make any money doing that. So I had this lovely life with no income really to speak of. And suddenly I am on my own, like sitting outside the house. And my friend, one of my clients, actually a friend who was a client, said, well, you can come and live in the garage. First, I was like, seriously? What? We're going to live in a garage? Oh my God. I mean, I should quickly say it's in California, so living in a garage isn't quite so bad. They had somebody live in the garage before, and so there was a bed in there. And it turned out to work out perfectly. I mean, so I lived in the garage, the big double bed. The dog slept on the bed. It had a walk-in closet in the corner because they'd built this cupboard. So that acted like a walk-in closet. And the other side of the garage, I had all my clothes, my one thing that I had, right? That was stored in the other side of the garage because it's a big double garage. And I could park my car outside. Job done, right? Now, I was so excited to be away from the constant, you're not, I mean, my husband was emotionally abusive. You are a pissant. You will never succeed. You are awful. And I got through that because something inside of me, luckily, that diamond believed in me enough, because if I hadn't, I'd never got out. But getting back to the garage. So I'm in my garage. And
so we will have to just pause you here. Sorry.
oh, yes, it's 11 o'clock.
Yes. So, and
I'm so
however,
sorry. I got off on one, Alex. I'm so sorry.
No, because it's such a gift as well, right? To be able to weave the story, from one turn to another. I really appreciate that, and I really want to acknowledge one thing as well that you particularly pointed out is that role of purpose, where one thing is to believe in something that is perhaps a fantasy or something that isn't really true to us, and another thing is to believe in what's really purposeful. And I really as well like how you weaved in what was purposeful for you, right? The work with horses, which was coincidentally the same as in that story with the girl, right? Quite interestingly so. And so, yeah, really just to kind of complete that journey, that inquiry that we had about belief being at the foundation, belief being at the start. I think what you beautifully laid out is how we can simply by chunking things down, by looking at step by step, and by really connecting with others, right? That's also a theme that we touched upon in Wave 1 with some of our panelists there, that we cannot do it on our own. This journey isn't designed to be done alone. So
100%. And just and again, Bob Proctor, bless his soul, his last book I recommend everyone, it's Change Your Paradigm by Bob Proctor, is his last book that he wrote. So if anyone liked what I said today, that's a very simple, quick read, and go grab that, because that man was full of much wisdom.
Thank you so much, Lisa. And we have your link as well on the screen now. So please feel free to explore more about Lisa's work and reach out to her. And once again, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely day. Live a life you love.
Good one. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are now at the peak of our wave 2, Europe, Africa, and Middle East. And you can once again go to join the other synchronized events, and you can see some of them on our platform being streamed live right now. So if you are currently not on the platform or not in the Earth Elders group, feel free to join them now. And as you can see in this preview, so just like in a real festival, you can see the different stages simultaneously. Some of them are on the platform natively, some of them are in Earth Elders. So we will now give the space to all of our wonderful hosts and the synchronized practices. And for now, we will go on a break on this central stage with some nice meditative music for about 10 to 20 minutes. So once the synchronized practices on other stages are complete, then we will commence and return to our next speaker. So tune with us in a moment. Tune back with us.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Charlie, welcome to our central stage. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
We are now returning back to the central stage slowly as other hosts are completing their synchronized practices. And we're here continuing to explore different uplifting and deep topics. And Charlie Voss has joined us here today to explore a theme of living from the heart. And Charlie is a world traveler, mysticism practitioner, singer, songwriter. Charlie performs from New Age music to meditations to mantras to ethnic and Latin music to reggae and progressive rock. You know, what an eclectic mix. It's so beautiful to have that variety and diversity. And I believe somewhere there is some kind of unified core, and that core may as well, I imagine, be the heart, right? So what a beautiful topic. It's great once again to have you here, and I'd love to explore this theme with you today.
Thank you so much, Alex, for having me here. It's kind of, for me, it's like I am finally going in this step, because we spoke about this some time ago, and now it's finally happening. So beautiful it is happening. And I feel very happy that I can share with others, and we can co-create a space where we can definitely develop this necessary and very, very, very important aspect of our life, that is this positiveness creating by thrusting in ourselves and believing in what we can do. A lot of tools, a lot of methods, a lot of ways, but essentially it's very, very, very based in what is inside of you and what is your intention and your awareness to this intention. So I like to speak about heart, because probably my life is most of it moved by the heart. And in these times, for example, when we are living a very uncertain moments, like you don't know what will happen tomorrow. Okay, in kind of frequency, people have a tendency to definitely go deep and deep and deep in the collecting of a specific kind of information. You start to resonate and vibrate in this direction. And it's very interesting that we are speaking for the last decade, we are speaking about ascension and the possibility how the humans will experience an ascension and physically transformation of the reality. Then I remember with my wife that we went through a trip for 1 year through all the mountains in Panama, and between Costa Rica and Panama. And we visited 7 points. And those 7 points were the 7 top of mountains, 7 mountains. And the idea of this big ritual was to uplift the blue energy in this area. Blue energy is, it's known as the energy that co-create in between the ending of the rivers and the sea in the delta place. This is the co-creation energy, blue. But the energy that we were speaking about is an energy. It's kind of similar, because all of these mountains are just a rampage of water that when the rain comes, they are just drawing the water, and the water is just going slowly through all the land. And the deep blue energy is that concentration of life through the water and through the earth that should arise, because it's completely wisdom and will arise and will affect those living beings up. And just my wife that walked with me this path just a few days ago asked me how we will visualize the transformation of this reality, because more than ever I feel that we are in it, but sometimes we don't see it. And then I just meditate, and for me answer is very simple. We are already having the chance to co-create the fifth dimensional plane or state. It's already happening. You are already at the moment that you disconnect from what we understand it is mainstream. What we understand it is not even just mainstream, but what we understand as now as life. In this moment, you are allowing the possibility to understand a new dimensional state, a new dimensional space of life. And this is happening at the same time with this. So by the moment that we are aware of it, we are living the ascension process. And the more we are living that, the more it starts to be manifested. It is not a joke just that it is the fifth dimensional process. You have also the 5G coming in the reality. That it is not much just that a mirror of what it's happening. And with the 5G, you will have incredible possibilities to do things that you are not expected to do now. 10 years ago, we could not have this meeting here like we have today. So same is happening in the invisible parallel that for now is invisible, but will be more tangible by the moment that we more are aware of that. So at the same time, we will be available to do many interesting things if we start to experience live under this frequency. That's what I call inner technology, because then you are making an upgrade to your technology. It's same. You are passing from 3 to 4 and to 5. And then you are going now to upgrade possibilities in you. How? Through very basic and simple and traditional methods. This is the most wonderful. It's like you have amazing transformation of energy constantly, but you are so well developed device as an organism that you are available to upgrade by your own without problem each of the transformations. We have and we have methods like meditation that is quite basically and generic, because it's simple as you just turn in you. That's it. You turn in you turn in your possibilities, and then the magic start to happen. Then that beautiful symbiotic relation in between the stars and the earth start to make sense. So the rest is just an illusion created by our own. So that is before, in one moment was a strong reality, then it started to be an illusion. First is a dream, then became a strong reality, then became an illusion. And it is a cycle. Now we're dreaming about the fifth. We are living them. In one moment, wonderfully, will be another illusion, because we will transcend further as humans, as beings. So since that perspective, I think that start to living the life like this, everything will start to be more easy, because you are really flowing better. When you have a device of a next generation, you are the download process of files are more easy. You are flowing better. Yeah, you are flowing better. If you have an old device in you, you will not download so quickly. So it is the basic principle.
I love how you tie in so many things in one kind of concept. And what I hear in what you're sharing is that it's much about awareness, right? It's like, where do we place our attention to, and what do we hold in our awareness? And I really love how you allow the ancient wisdom to come into the modern technology, right? Like, you speak very much into this ancient idea of our physical reality being an illusion, and yet in the next breath you're saying, like, we'll be able to download files easily. I love that. So how does that for you really help to walk that sort of path of the heart? Where is that awareness that connects us with the heart, and how do we come to that awareness? I know you also guide many different practices, and also your music isn't just music that we go to a concert and we just sit there and we listen, right? It's a music that is participatory music. So I believe you have many different tools how we can actually tap into the heart. So maybe you can speak to that a little bit.
Oh yes. We have a lot of methods, definitely, how to go to the heart, but I think the most valuable, at least in my experience, it's to take time to myself, definitely, to sit and relax and just focus in what is flowing and going in me. As you say, it's an awareness, but that awareness will drive you to find, to solve, to see, and through many different tools, intuition, perception, and a lot. But something that I would like to recommend in a basic form is the practice of verbalization. As a singer, I like to sing, obviously. So for some reason, and through all these years of study and as you say, I feel myself as a very old soul, but I'm learning each life about how humans can in some way correlate your wonderful universal and astral personality with the elemental form. So this is an art to learn how to connect these things, and this take a lot of life. But by the moment that you pay attention to those aspects, you start to discover in simple things how to really upgrade yourself. And one that I really love is the verbalization. I mean, mantras. I mean, repeat. I mean, take a serious words and concepts, because they are very serious. It's very serious when we speak. It's very serious when we articulate sound, because we are creating, and we are using all our instrument to create this. So it's a shame that we create just to express negativity, because this will, by physics, this will surround us. So in the opposite way, if I start to create interesting concepts, and more especially if I start to repeat them, I am really co-creating a very interesting field around me and through me, through others, and through everywhere. So I would like to give one tips, like you should repeat 4 concepts, for example, those that I really like, that are very basic and they ground your possibility as human. That is peace, freedom, beauty. Beauty can represent creation, and love. Repeat them. The ritualistic process that I do is I repeat each of them 4 times. Sometimes I repeat each of them 7 times. Sometimes I repeat each of them 21 times. It depends about the moon, and it depends about many aspects. But the important idea is to repeat in a very, 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 very still, in the very, very moment where you feel calm, when you are going in the core of your inside, then repeat this process, because the resonance of you through all your chemistry and through all your the astral connection that you by that moment will get, you will transform this in a very, 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 very important reality in you and around you. So that will bring you to the heart. That will bring you then to the heart and to the connection to all your center points, to up, to down. And that will upgrade slowly. You will bring you information. You will go to sleep. You will have dreams. You will, while driving your car, and you will notice something. You will have clues. Because we will be constantly aware of all the info that we are receiving. Because the life of those that are coming in this way is like this. Be aware of all the info that you are receiving, because you are open. You are open portals.
So it's interesting that, from what I understand, the 4 concepts: love, beauty, what was it, peace and harmony, right?
Peace and peace and freedom.
Freedom.
Well, you can say harmony. Yeah.
Right. Would you repeat them like in whatever, any language? Because, we're used to having mantras that are in different ancient languages, and then we kind of repeat those. But you're suggesting just regular, common, everyday language, right? That kind of
yes, as the language that resonate with you. For example, in our practices, when I'm leading these practices with people, especially when we are talking about like body activation and Merkaba, then I include words. I instead to say peace, I say shalom. Then I say freedom. Then I say daile. You know, daile is in Latvian, and love. Why? Because this is an integration of sounds. It's there is a code, decodification of codes through each language, and this is why when I meditate and I'm going deeper in practice with people, I use these terms. But you can use wonderful terms in Sanskrit or in in all the language that you want. Important that you are having a meaning for it, that you are that you are very aware of your that you are very aware of what you are singing. I want to get more. Darling, I am a little bit in a world, okay? I will go to you soon.
The new generation of
So yes, I think you can feel free about which kind of language you use. About which kind of language you can just a second.
Sure. So while we are on a technical break, we will return in a moment. So bear with us. Okay, we're back. No problem.
Yes, and yes, you can feel free to use any language that you want. I think the most important thing is that you are aware that what you are singing, and sometimes then to know the language, give this approach. You know, you are aware of what you are repeating.
And can you elaborate why verbalization and how is that related to the heart? That's quite interesting.
Yes, verbalization is because practically it's very it's efficient. Sorry for my English, but I want to say that it's very efficient practically, because at the moment that you chant, the idea is through this process you do it very conscious about your breathing process. It's like when you are singing, you are fulfilling your diaphragm, and when you inhale and when you exhale, you are putting the air out pulling up your diaphragm and allowing all the air to come out. And then this process, in combination with the possibility to create a sound, and in combination that all water and liquid that we are generating a resonance in our chest that is affecting the third chakra, empowering, coming up to our chest. That is the primary source of intention, and this is where I base my life, in intention. And then this coming up and going out through the fifth chakra, that is the expression, totally influenced by my connection, my astral connection, and my awareness. So the verbalization became a very deep process in the end, because I am using the power of what I am using the sound, and I am using, when I say what I am, I'm in my body. I'm using my body, I'm using my sound, and I'm using also my astral possibilities, believing, putting intention, seeing as a big possibility for the future, and trusting that more powers out that what I can are helping me to go through this. So it's a very, 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 very rich process. So this is why verbalization for me is important, because I can put in practice also this possibility of use my body. Similar than if you practice beautiful yoga, or if you do any other practice that you use all your possibilities. I think this is one of the most efficient.
I like that. So what I hear and what you're sharing is from a slightly different angle. We can have different practices that are mainly based in our imagination, in sensing or feeling or seeing kind of certain processes or energies, right? And where verbalization becomes more efficient is it's kind of very easy to grasp and to focus on and to kind of get hold on, right? And I really like that aspect. And it's also connecting multiple levels at the same time, as you're saying, right? It's our body, it's our breath, it's our mind through language and beyond. And you referred to astral planes several times in our conversation. And just recently, I saw an advert by Mind Valley. They have a new course about astral projections. So this is becoming an interesting theme now and a bit of a trend. And there's a film as well on Netflix that is based on the story of someone having lucid dreaming, which is, one access to these different states of consciousness. So, yeah, and these different states of consciousness is something that we can either intentionally achieve or we can accidentally sometimes fall into. And maybe you can speak a little bit more to that. Well, how would you say that relates to living from the heart? Because, well, we might think that these astral planes, it's somewhere out there, but the heart is here, right? So how do you link those two?
Yes, if you mean about living like how the astral can, it's manifested through my daily life or through my or through what I am and through my heart. It is because let's say that if we are, of course, if we are a normal citizen of a country, of a place, there are a lot of rules and a lot of situations happening that make us understand that you are living in this reality, in this place, and in this possibility. And it's you come to somebody now and you say that there is an infinity process where the light, the people will say, wait. I do trust in what I see. The rest is or dreams or I'm sleeping or whatever. And yeah, there is something coming from my inside, but this is my will. This is my the heritage of my core. This is all of these things. But don't be mystic. Then I remember that in 2013, I visit in the mountains of Costa Rica. I visit one place, and there I spoke with a shaman. And I remember what this shaman told me. I asked him, like, because he was a shaman, but he was also curandero. Curandero is the man that know all the botanical possibilities to heal you. He have a knowledge, like he was more bigger than any these pharma books. He probably know about thousands of different kind of plants to heal and to do things, and it was a knowledge passes through generation. And he told me, to make this job very good, you need to have a very good imagination. Because there are a lot of ways that all these spirits and all these entities that are surrounded in this jungle wanted to speak with you, but we are very well designed that we are very focused in one possibility, because we were constructed in that. Our life is not just few hours. No, we grow and we start to learn things, to learn how to be, how is the life, and then we learn in steps, and those steps put us in one dimensional aspect. We are not learning since very young that you can close your eye and you can imagine, and when you imagine, you are really connecting to some possibilities. and then we have kind of off this faculty, just off, but it's there. So take time to go there. For me, before believing the mystic side, I was an artist, and as an artist, there is always this spark, that you want to dream, that you want to imagine, because otherwise, how from where the creation is coming. So you don't need to be a mystic to understand that there is an aspect, there is a part, there is a big chance that there is a space that you don't see, but that is full of information, that is full of possibilities, and you have access to this. So all that methods that we know from ancient civilizations and from ancient cultures, they are designed exactly to achieve this information, to make us be connected with these possibilities, because otherwise we are limited beings, and that's not the idea of us. So since there I can then connect, I can put the intention in me, and I can start to connect. When I arrive here now, to come into the heart, to how this is with the reality. When I came to Latvia, I was not living by the music or by none of these things. I was playing guitar in my home, and I was having practices of meditation. But for me, I was going to some places and practicing, even not learning, just practicing. I was a corporative man. I was in a very big company as a creative director. I was always in an advertising, so I was in a very normal life. But when I arrived to Latvia, I arrived here because I understand that was the call at my 40s to start the path that why I am here in this life. Before was the school, and still is a school, but what before was like primary school. Yes. Now I came to the life here. Everything told me, you need to be you need to be what you are. Stop to be this person. This is what you are. So believe in you. Believe in your heart. Wow. Then the magic start to happen. I need to learn to play better. I need to understand what to create, how to develop, and how to manage my life in this. And to be very, very quick, I start to do it with meditation. The first intercommunication that I receive is like make a band, and then I make a band of Latino music. And recently, after 3 months of rehearsing, and one day in my meditation, I understand you need to go to this restaurant in the old town. So I went there. I speak with the man, and after 2 months, we were the band that was earning more money in the old town, because how we were playing and how we were doing. I was having a conflict in my inside, because as an artist, I promised to myself that I will never that I never will play covers of Latino music nowhere under non circumstance. This was in my old life. But in this life, I put my ego down to increase the astral connection, to understand where to go, and I say I will do what is needed. And this process will start to build me. So during 3 years, I became very popular with this band, touring through all the north, playing in weddings, big corporative parties. And then I start to also build. I made a very nice studio in Riga with other guy, where we start to make more progressive music. And I start to drive in the music. I take all the astral information that I receive, and I start to go through the path, creating this music. And then COVID arrived, block everything. Everything stopped. All my gigs for 1 year already packed with Baltinos will cancel, and my life was completely stopped. And I understand, then new source of information will come. So I sit to meditate, information come, and hard put it in practice. Heart have the emotion. Heart feel sad. Heart feel positive. Heart feel that you don't want to do that, but heart also understand. You need to do that. And then this is the connection with the information that comes to tell you what you need to do, and when you need to do it. So then during COVID, I understand I should not continue more in this direction. The direction is what I have to do all the time, but I just didn't want, because I thought that this was the direction. You need to speak about this and make music about this. And then since at the moment I share, and then I start to produce in this direction. A lot of then festivals start to appear in this direction. Community start to appear in this direction. I saw myself then recently with retreats, with with activities, with a lot of workshops, and a lot of little underground illegal concerts. but but really it was very, 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 very incredible how how this happened. It is my astral connection generated because of what I spoke before, the consciousness of the technology that is all most of the time uplifting, of upgrading, and the heart putting out the intention and trusting and doing.
Wow, well, that was quite a journey now in these last few stretches of our conversation. I really loved the whole transition from what you could call, a conventional, regular life in marketing, and transforming into a mystic. That's just, I mean, marketing people are a little bit of mystics, but that's a different conversation, right? Really, what I like in the context of our conversation, living from the heart, it's, as you said, like you really felt a pull towards something different. And as you also said, it's something that we may not want to do, because maybe we're a little bit cautious or unsure, but we really feel that that's what we have to do, right? And the last thing that you said about then going through the transitions and just following that guidance, and it giving opportunities, and it's suddenly telling you going to the right places, meeting the right people. And really, to me, that in a way encapsulates what living from the heart is. It's really trusting that guidance and really taking the next step, and not sometimes even knowing where that step takes you, but still following it. Right? Amazing. And okay, so we can now gradually complete our conversation and set up the short performance, and then we will have another one of our main stage hosts also joining us for a closing ceremony to complete this wave 2, Europe, Africa, and Middle East. We have one more going later on today, and so we'll do a quick sound check as well, just in case, to see if everything is working smoothly.
Can you hear the guitar?
Yeah, I think it's all very nice. The guitar is good with the voice.
So let's just maybe close our eyes. Give this moment to yourself. Om Namo Gurudev Namo Gurudev Namo Gurudev. Om Gurudev Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev. Om Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev. Om Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev. Diving in your inner wisdom. Searching for answers. Om Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev. 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 Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev. Om Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev. You are the beginning. You are the end. You are the light. You are the darkness. You are the sky. And you are the earth. Om Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev Namo, Gurudev. Namaste. Amen.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for your offering through this exploration of the heart, from marketing to Latino musician to the mystic. What a beautiful journey, eh?
Thank you so much for the invitation, and hope to see you again.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank
And
you.
yes, we will be in touch. And of course, the Global Unity Festival is a monthly event. So I hope to see you again, join us, and perhaps host a synchronized practice again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. All right, so drawing to the close, and we have one more guest joining us in all the glory of all white, What a beautiful sight. Thank you. And we have Magdalena Atkinson joining us. She's a soulful singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, yogini, a teacher of Shakti dance, yoga of dance, and Gene Keys guide, and a dreamer. Welcome to our central stage, Magdalena.
Welcome, Alex. It has been for me so far very emotional and a very positive way. I just feel like I was getting the messages from other people and from myself, which enriched me. So I am very grateful for this opportunity, because otherwise probably I would do something else and I'll give myself that time for you and for me and for everybody. And because we committed, and your commitment is amazing, Alex, some magic can come through. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Magdalena. And yeah, that's just so great to hear that this is very much a mutual experience, right? And as you said that, what I remembered is the research done by Lynn McTaggart, who did the series of experiments. She has the book published, The Power of Eight, and the intention experiments. And what they discovered was when people got together and focused on one of the group members and sent them positive intentions, it not only gave positive results to the person who was the focus of the intention, but also to those sending the intention. And yeah, that's just really kind of an experience of that, when all giving and sharing are really being uplifted. I guess that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I had a beautiful moment when I was doing my practice, which suddenly, it's a very, I'm located in southern England, and it has been rainy day so far. And then suddenly this shaft of light came on my face. I had closed eyes, but it was just in a moment when I was talking about inspiration coming from the divine into our upper centers, through the top, head, and the third eye and the throat, and that beautiful shaft of light was just like here, and exactly it felt like illumination, like, you're on the stage and then suddenly this bright light come and bring that illumination into the stage. I felt like it's not, however it could feel like it has been a stage, but for me it was a very much like a sign from the other side, that light, and kind of playing with me, and and coming upon me and hopefully upon everybody else, because I'm sure that their room life changed for that little moment as well, even if just a little bit, and maybe camera capture that, I don't know, but it has been so emotional that I just was, wow, it really it was something. So thank you for that.
Well, I didn't do anything for that, but yes, of course, we're
Well, it was just a divine timing, wasn't it? It just happened. If I would start now, there's clouds and rain again.
right. There you go. And this really is a co-creative space, and as I have shared before as well, this is not my project. This is not our project who are managing it in the kind of backstage. This is really the vision that wants to be born in its own right. This is really a natural really evolution of our human experience, where we become more connected, we become more, I guess, coherent and harmonized in our activities. So yeah, and really this is an invitation for everyone who has something to share, some wisdom, some heart, some art, some light, to come and be, share and be known by the wider audience of the Global Unity Festival community. So
yeah, beautiful vision, and I am one of a few who witness your vision growing. So I feel very honored to witness that.
Yeah, and thank you really for being there right from the very end and trusting and continuing really to join and be part of this. So thank you so much. Okay, so before we go into our final closing performance, I'd like to just summarize for you as well, and for those who might be tuning in later on for the recording, that we've had now 2 events, as I mentioned, Wave 1 in Asia Pacific, and now here, Wave 2. And we've had 5 hosts today hosting their synchronized practices in different traditions, different approaches. And we've had now nearly 3 hours on the central stage, and hopefully this is just the beginning, and hopefully we can really see steady and increasing growth of this community, this space, so that more and more people can join. And this very much is about not just us feeling good, but our neighbors feeling good, and our relatives feeling good, and all at the same time, and with that creating a network. And today we had hosts and guests from different countries in Europe for now, and hopefully later from Africa and Middle East as well. So we had someone from Latvia, so Charlie, he's from Panama originally but currently based in Latvia. We have people from Germany, from United Kingdom, someone based in Ibiza. What else did we have? I might be forgetting some, forgive me if I do, but it's already really a network of different nodes in different locations. And so we hope to grow that network so it becomes stronger and more powerful. So yeah. Okay, and feel free to share a little bit about what you're going to share with us today, or a little bit, about yourself, anything that you feel. So.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I feel right now my mood is shifting into really, really uplifting spirit. So I was thinking about sharing a gentle song, and I probably still will, because my hammer dulcimer, this is my instrument which I use for spiritual healing music. It's a Celtic version of the dulcimer. It's just here, and all other instruments are somewhere else, but maybe next time I will have them ready in case my mood change. So I think I will share the song which I shared during the Yoga Nidra, because it has that uplifting, positive vibe. It's we could say as musicians, in a more major scale, which means more uplifting, more has that
joyful kind of
connection music, which are just on the positive side. So yes, if you let me, I would like to share the song called "Open Your Heart."
Absolutely.
Okay, so here we go. Open your heart and fill it with love. Forgive the days for all the mistakes which holds you back. Open your heart and fill it with love. Forgive yourself for all the mistakes and be free. And open your heart and fill it with love. Forgive the days for all the mistakes which hold you back. heart, fill it with love. Forgive yourself for all the mistakes and be free. You told me that you worried how your life is going to be. You told me that you were grateful that you're so glad. Forgiveness. Told me that you were grateful for all those lost days. I can hear and open your heart and hear. And open your heart and fill it with love. Forgive the days for all the mistakes which hold you back. Open your heart and fill it with love. Forgive yourself for all the mistakes and be free. And open your heart, fill it with love. Forgive the days for all the mistakes which hold you back. Open your heart, fill it with love. Forgive yourself for all the mistakes and be free. You told me that you're tired of all the days before. You told me that you lost the trust in all the good in the world. You told me that you were grateful for your life, how it is so far. I hear when I let you to speak. Your heart can speak back, telling you. Open your heart and fill it with love. Forgive the days for all the mistakes which hold you back. Open your heart, fill it with love. Forgive yourself for all the mistakes and be free. And open your heart and fill it with love. Forgive the days for all the mistakes which holds you back. Open your heart and fill it with love. Forgive yourself for all the mistakes and be free.
Thank you so much. And I really love how it echoes with what we were exploring in wave one. We were talking about forgiveness, and here you are really, singing into that. It's just so beautiful.
Well, it's beautiful. There was a beautiful lady who was on a central stage earlier, another musician, and she was talking about soul language, and it has been beautiful. So I'm sending her big love, because it as an artist, I have a little struggle, which actually over the years I feel it's less struggle and more a gift. I write lots of lyrics and lots of poetry, but I don't remember the lyrics. So my problem as an artist earlier in my life was that I cannot perform without having the music written. And it started to be really challenging, because people would say, you don't look professional. You are professional, but you don't look professional because you don't know your lyrics. And it caused lots of like, I'm not good enough. And it caused like, how can I forgive myself? What can I do? What kind of, how can I force my brain into something? And actually, when I'm letting go, sometimes I'm messing up the lyrics. I mess up the lyrics in this song, and I was aware of that I don't remember the lyrics to the verses. Yet I said, actually, if I start to be stressed about it, then the song will be ruined, and then I cannot share the song. And then what if I go into that mode, which I really love, into that improvising, being in the moment and making up the lyrics, which might be not really perfect one, not as perfect as has been written as a poem, which has good rhymes and good numbers of syllables and everything, all this mathematically as well as phonetically perfect. And then suddenly you let go of that. And you ended up in a little bit messy space. But actually, I think much more, it opens the door to a different dimension in us as artists. And probably I am one, like the lady who was here before, that we can do the old school, but also we are getting free from that old school and keeping some structures, but then allowing something else to happen. So I didn't expect to perform the song today. I was thinking about another song, which I definitely know the lyrics to. But it is probably another step towards forgiveness. And forgiveness first comes to yourself, Be brave and forgive yourself for the coming mistakes, which are coming, and do it with grace and overcome that fear. And then actually create something beautiful, which nobody have to know even that you made a mistake, because it's not a mistake. So thank you for that lesson today, to you and to that lovely lady, which I'm going to check her. I loved her song about love rising. It's beautiful.
You're right. I think you're referring to Katrin Skusa.
Katrin, yeah.
Yes. Amazing. And like that's really a little insight to giving ourselves the permission and giving ourselves the permission to improvise, and in that improvisation, go beyond those rigid kind of boundaries, and what awaits us beyond those boundaries can often be very magical and unexpected, and it's about really learning to tap into that and to kind of dance with that, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Amazing. So do you feel like sharing another quick one, or shall we complete that?
Okay, we can do another quick one. So it will be just a little chant. And let me think which one it could be. Okay, that will be the healing chant. And it can be very long, but it also can be very short. So why not? Healing for this world, for your life and all the beings. Healing for this world, for your life and all the beings. Peace on earth, healing for all the beings. Peace on earth, healing to all the beings. Healing for this world, for your life and all the beings. Healing for this world, for your life and all the beings. Peace on earth, for all the beings. Peace to this world, to our life, and all the beings healing to this world, to your life, and all the beings, peace on earth, healing all the beings, peace on earth, healing for all the beings, for all the beings, for all the beings. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this beautiful, uplifting offering, and may these sounds and intentions reverberate far and wide throughout our beautiful planet, and may they call in other conscious leaders, artists, healers, and wisdom keepers to share their gifts and to uplift our world together. And for today, I thank you, Magdalena. I thank all our participants who attended or will watch us later, and our guests and hosts of the festival, and of course our team who have contributed to making this a reality. And we will continue our festival for our remaining third wave in the Americas. And this is a monthly festival, so please join us with others worldwide every first Sunday of every month. So I'll see you in the following festivals, and see more at our main website, globalunityfestival.org. And most uplifting wishes. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.